Example 4 on page 558, expressed in terms of I. So we're given negative square root of negative 64. This example is different from the previous example that we had, where when you have even root, where k is even, in this case, square root, k is 2, so 2 is even, right? In the previous example, when you have the radicand's negative inside a square root or a radical that has k even, you would say this example does not exist or does not have real number as the answer. But now we talk about, in this section 6.8, we talk about the complex numbers. We're going to expand the number system. So we define I equal to square root of negative 1, okay? And I is called the complex number I. And if you square on both sides, from this, you would get, this is I squared simplified without parentheses, it's still I squared. This is square root, and you raise to the second power. Now, this exponent match with the index k equal 2 over here, and you learned in the previous sections, if they match, you can simplify this radical, because k is equal to 2, and the outer exponent is 2, they both match. Okay, k match with the exponent 2, that means you can simplify this radical to negative 1. So, make sure you memorize, understand how to get the two formula. Okay, so I'm going to use this formula and this formula a lot. But let me clear it out so you see it. There's only two formulas here. So I is equal to square root of negative 1. I squared equal to negative 1. And I is called the complex number I. Alright. We use complex when radicand is negative inside and even index k. Like this k is 2, and the radicand is negative. For this example, solution, negative square root of negative 64. You can simplify the radicand by splitting this negative 64 to negative 1 times 64. And no surprise, right? Because negative 1 times 64 is negative 64. And then from here, you can split this radical. And the formula we learned in the previous sections, negative. I'm going to split this radical, one radical, to two radicals. Square root of negative 1 times square root of 64. Okay? This negative is still in front. The reason I want to split to this form because definition of I is equal to square root of negative 1. And we have square root of negative 1 here. Okay? So, I'm going to replace this I for this. So I'm going to replace the whole thing here, this first radical right here, with I. So, negative I, okay, come from this first radical, okay, I, and this, now, this one you know, it is a squared, because a squared is 64, and this exponent matched with the index k equal 2 over here. That means you can simplify this radical further. Negative I, this simplified to 8. So the answer is negative 8 times I. So example 4, the answer after you take the square root of negative 64 and multiply by negative in front. Simplify, you get the answer negative 8i. And this is a complex number because it involves the letter I. And I stands for radical of negative 1. And these two formulas are very important. Make sure you know it.